You come in with your best troops, you best bring more. Already told you I got the juice like Orenthal. Already know what I'm about to do, bet your men fall. Everyone know that we got the truth, all your men falls. So boss, overtaking our enemies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operated when bringing haters to misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah. That's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas make them more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause their time is short and a moment late. Let it culminate to they heart erasing and palpitate. Cowards perpetrate like they little group is respectable. Talking intellectual. All of you homosexuals. Faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK. Ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith. I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them field niggas. Show them to put in work. Move mountain, crush hills, nigga. Take a dead soul. Breathe life and make it live, nigga. No affiliation, so it's no one to compare with us. Took the Lord's laws and just added it with fear, nigga. Aim for the body, cause you know like killer hit quicker. With these bars, I'm on my grizzly, so bear witness. You spit cold, I spit flu. Don't compare sickness. You floss diamond, I floss fringes. Don't compare dentists. UPK, we meant the war shit. We ain't Christian. Harm one of us, get pistol whipped like the gun got a belt with it. I'm bred different. The competition just a mill. I'm fed different. I stood front line on them fields. I bled different. I'd rather be a corpse than a cow when I'm led different. Shit, I'm led different. Come through like a juggernaut, so don't get in the way. And we take everything serious. We don't play. I wonder now what they gon' say. Shit, we make profits out of shooters like the NBA. You get slayed for switching sides, nigga. We ain't on the same page. Immaculate conception. Wow. These niggas bitch made. I'm sticking with the foundation where my bricks laid. You switch sides, I'd rather switch caves. You was never with us, nigga. Just know we won't miss you, nigga. Right hand hold the scriptures, nigga. Left hip hold the pistol, nigga. How you want it? You can get it spiritual or physics, nigga. Wrong ones to come against, so bring an army with you. No affiliation. When you see us, make the difference with us. No affiliation. When you see us, know we different, nigga. No affiliation, so no, you can't kick it with us. The wrong ones to come against, bring an army with you.
Misunderstood for having some morality, but my people damn spirituality, Lord knows. Just a young Hebrew from Killer, California. Used to thug in the streets with no sense of order. Used to love to press the line, even test the water, and almost lost my life from slanging and hanging on that corner. I learned to cut the grass so I could see the snakes. I had to decipher between the real and fake. And nowadays all these niggas do is hate. Treat you like a bitch, sit back and try to manipulate. Yeah, that's why I got it on my own too. You see me rocking with the Hebrews. UPK is how we do. Stand for the Lord, the mother niggas is see-through.
Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at?
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. Yeah. My nigga, we gotta change. This for the king, this for the king.
It's safe to say we curse today, trying to find another way, but all they do is take away. Trying to pray the bigger way while trying to find a safer way. Eat so we can face to face. Please, Lord, save the day, cause everybody at my job always got some shit to say. You might think this shit is crazy, but I deal with this every day. Knowing that we paved the way, I had it up to here here today. Listen to the shit they say, make me wanna catch this case or even if they face away. But I know what those scriptures say. We gon' wait on judgment day, thinking it ain't coming, thinking the Lord bluffing. Waiting on the day it's gonna be hotter than the oven, though they treat me like a slave. Wanna see me in the grave, hate to see a nigga brave, hate to see a nigga brave. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wide, knowing that this cracker's gon' get it no problem. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wide, knowing that this cracker's gon' get it no problem.
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. My nigga, we gotta change. This for the king, this for the king.
I'm gonna read the question to you. You ready? Come on, concept. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of One West. First, let me stop. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah to all my brothers. Yahweh Shema Al-Tham Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. This is Baltimore. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, Bmore history class. We're going to go through a little bit of history, and we're going to talk about, the things that are going on today, yesterday, and tomorrow. We go through history in different kinds of ways. Today's class, go ahead, what you got?
Brother Tom Ray Staron asked, good evening. What's the first book in the Bible I should read?
The first book in the Bible that you should read is Deuteronomy, and you probably want to go to the 28th chapter and read the whole 28th chapter. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you come from, you don't know why we're going through what we're going through, Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, is a big piece of meat. It'll give you a lot of everything that you need. The next thing that you probably want to do is get into class. Getting into class is really the way that you can truly learn the Bible. Being at home, you're not going to learn to understand what you're reading on your own. You have to get into class. But when I came into the truth, I thought I understood the Bible until I got into class up under the brothers that were above me. You got to get into class to get the true understanding, because a lot of us hear the Bible and we get the Bible, but we look at the Bible from a Christian standpoint or an oppressor standpoint. You got to get the true meaning of the Bible, because to read it is one thing, but to understand it is another thing. Did I touch on that?
That was it.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
All right. Today's class is the title of today's class is Trust Not Thine Enemy. And the problem with our people today is we trust in our enemy so much so that the things that go on, when evil things go on, we think that it's us, and we don't understand that it's truly our enemy. And in following our enemy, when our enemy falls into a hole, we'll fall into that hole right behind our enemy. The Most High tells us in the Bible, trust not thine enemy. He told us trust not thine enemy because what? He knew how crafty, he knew how sly, he knew how slick that the enemy was. In the Bible it says what? That the serpent was the more subtle beast of the field. Okay? And when it's speaking of subtlety, is speaking of Salakia. When it's speaking of the beast of the field, it's speaking of the other nations. When it's speaking of the serpent, it's talking specifically about our oppressor, or the spirit that is in our oppressor. Okay? And then the problem that we have, because we've been in this culture, and because we've been in this custom, because we've been in the American way so long, it's the only way that we know. So when we hear something different, when we hear the truth, when we hear real authority and real true direction or morality, we think that it's wrong and we go off with that. You understand? But the Most High knew that this truth will be brought back into the earth via the Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into we're gonna get into a little video and show you these things that happened on what was that, January the 6th, the overrunning of the Capitol, or the insurrection of the Capitol. We have to remember too that this system is not our system. This is not the system that the Most High set up for us. So this is not the direction that the Most High wants us to go. But a lot of us, we believe that we're Democrats, we believe that we're Republicans, we believe that we're anything and everything but what the Most High made us out to be. So now we want to show a little video of our oppressor and how our oppressor thinks of us and what he thought or what he put out there as propaganda, that if we were to run the nation, what would happen. You ready to start that, brother?
John.
Go ahead, start that.
This is D.W. Griffin, The Birth of a Nation.
Hey, before you start that, let me give a little backdrop and little background behind that. Understand this too, right? D.W. Griffin was the producer of the Birth of a Nation, the original version, which was the 1919 version. D.W. Griffin got the idea from a book writer, Thomas Dixon Jr., which he wrote the book in 1905. In 1905, this is where D.W. Griffin got the idea to write this movie, Rebirth of a Nation. It's the same storyline, but it's in movie form. He put it in movie form. Go ahead, you can touch that.
Done. D.W. Griffin, The Birth of a Nation.
And if I might add, this is a silent film. In 1915, that's what they had. They had a lot of silent films, so it's no voiceover. It's just narrated. Saw right there on that part right there, it said the African Americans, the so-called blacks, was trying to pass a bill for interracial marriage. You understand? And we all know that in the Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, that interracial marriage was against God. You understand what I'm saying? But this was propaganda that they were using at this time to put fear into the oppressor or the rest of their people's hearts. You understand? To make them fear us. So interracial marriage was something that they didn't want. Interracial marriage was also something that we didn't want. But they were using it as propaganda to rile the people to come up against us. Go ahead. Eating chicken and everything inside the Senate House, got his feet kicked up. I mean, they make us look like we buffoons, you understand? They made us look like total buffoons. And think about this, right? In this year, in 1915, they didn't allow, blacks weren't allowed to make movies, or we weren't in a lot of movies, unless the movies were to make us look like buffoons. They never made us look like the hero or somebody good or somebody with competence. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the way they made us look. So what they was trying to get the people to rile the people up was, if blacks took over the Senate, if they took over the government, then everything would go awry. This is how they made us look. The helpless white minority. Notice that it was 101 versus 23. They always made it look like the numbers were stacked against them. That was another way that they used, that was another thing that they used to rile the people up. You understand? To make them look like they, or make them feel like they were outnumbered. Did you see the smirk on their face? They got up all smiling because they passed the bill for interracial marriage. Look at it. This is propaganda to the fullest. Now the grim reaping begins. Now this is where all hell's supposed to break loose. You understand what I'm saying?
You want to keep playing?
Yeah, let's hold up on that. Yeah, leave that. Let that go. This is the way that they made us feel. This is the way that they made their own people feel like if we was to take over the government, then this was what would happen. Everything would go awry. Everything would go to hell. You want to pull up that next video? Before you pull up that next video, first off, let's pull a scripture first. Let's go to, what's that? First Esdras, chapter 8, verse 85.
The book of First Esdras.
And let's start at 84.
The book of First Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 84. Therefore, now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons.
Go ahead.
Neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons.
But see, this is exactly what they just tried to make it seem like in that video. And this was, like we said before, it was propaganda. It was, whites did not want to be intermingled with blacks, but at the same time, blacks did not want to be intermingled with whites. Remember, this was the Reconstruction. This was at a time too when blacks were prospering. You understand what I'm saying? And the whole point was that the World War I was happening, and then also the United States was going into a recession or a depression. So because they were going into a depression, World War I was happening, and at the same time, blacks were prospering. This was the Reconstruction. You understand? They figured they let blacks go. They didn't give us anything, and we had to rely on our own people. And at the same time, we had a lot of people who were prospering, and we had a lot of cities that were growing. In under 50 years, we had our own cities, we had our own towns, we had our own businesses, we had everything that we needed within our own state, or what I'm saying is communities, you understand? And we did not have to rely on the so-called oppressor. And the so-called oppressor couldn't understand that. How were they going through a depression, and we were prospering within the midst of a depression? And that right there should let you know that the whole train of the American way was driven by blacks. It was driven by the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. And they built their whole society off of us. And in releasing us and so-called emancipating us, they thought that they were going to continue to prosper, not understanding that we were the driving force behind them prospering. Go ahead.
And when you talk about interracial marriage, black people didn't want anything to do
Exactly.
with that leper.
Exactly.
White society held their women up to be the prize
Right.
of society, to be the most valuable and wanted woman on earth, to try to make it the standard of beauty.
Right.
Brothers are not naturally attracted to those women. Only when they shoot collagen in their lips to make their lips bigger, and they shoot collagen in their behinds to make their behinds bigger.
And who are they?
Try to make themselves attractive to black men.
Right.
But during that time, white men used the white woman to anger white society and to galvanize white society into, we don't want to let these people be free and roam our countryside because they're going to rape our women. Which there is no data to confirm that any black man was out here raping white women at that time or had done anything to white women at that time at all. But this was a propaganda tactic that they used in order to do such vile and terrible things to black people. Black Wall Street, what they call Sadaka, all of that was because of the tale and the lie of some estranged black man attacking a white woman. Men, women, children, dogs, cats, mice, roaches, all had to be exterminated because somebody touched the white woman. And it even galvanizes white men today. That's why you have Karens. Because if Karen says something to a white man, it galvanizes him to do horrific and vile things to black people. You understand? This was a rallying call to get white people to fall into a zealot frame of mind in order to rape, pillage, and murder anything that had to do with black society. Salaki, go ahead.
Exactly, and it's powerful that it's crazy that you would bring that up, right? Taking into account everything that was happening to black people at the time at the hand of the so-called white woman, and they used that as propaganda to destroy us or to keep us down, just like they always did. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to let's finish that off. That was powerful. That was heavy though. Just like you said though, right? They use these kind of tactics, and the thing about it is, a lot of our people fall into that trap today when they using these kind of tactics. And it's like when they say that we are the worst people on the planet, and then you hear black people walk around saying, man, you know how we are, we destroy everything, black people can't do nothing, black people can't come together. When you look at the Isupk, we are black people, so-called black people, and we can come together. We all can come together if we stop falling for the propaganda that the oppressor puts out there on us. You ready to finish that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 86. And all that is befallen is done unto us. Salaki, we on verse 85.
Yeah.
The book of 1 Ezra 8 and verse 85. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
Moreover, we should never seek to have peace with them. And in participating and saying that this is our Senate, this is our capital, this is our United States, this is seeking to have peace with them. And that's the problem with our people today, is we always seeking to have peace with an animal that does not want to have peace with us. This is the same thing that destroyed the so-called Native Indian. You understand? The Native Indians, the tribe of Gad, seek to have peace with these people, and they came in and made all of these peace treaties with them, and our so-called oppressor broke every peace treaty with them. You understand? So Gad, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Manasseh, this whole country was their country. You understand what I'm saying? And they tried to seek peace, or they tried to have peace with this beast, and the beast took this country from them. Now look at the tribe. Look at our brothers from the tribe of Gad. They all on reservations. What is a reservation? What is a reservation? A reservation is nothing but a prison. They can't do anything on their own land or the reservations that they were put on. They can't build, they can't do anything without the approval of the so-called oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Now, how much hell is that this was your country, this was your land, and an oppressor comes in, or people come in and take it from you, and they dictate what you can and what you can't do. That's prison. You understand? Look, we got over 2.8 million brothers and sisters in prison today. A lot of them are in prison on bogus charges, seeking to have peace with them, seeking to be an American, seeking to be a Democrat or a Republican. You understand what I'm saying? Seeking to be, what do they call it? A citizen, a patriot. Thank you. That's it, a patriot. Go ahead.
That ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
Let me ask a question. How can you leave an inheritance to your children? How can you eat the good things of the land when you seek to have peace with an oppressor who has taken everything from you? And we all know that the oppressor has the good things of the land. The oppressor is the only one on this earth who can leave an inheritance to his children forevermore. You understand? Because we sought to have peace. And it's amazing that we're doing this on this day. This is supposed to be Martin Luther King's birthday, right? The very person who threw us into integration with our enemy. You understand? The Bible tells us, trust not thine enemy. But we tend to keep on trusting and trusting and trusting. And the more we trust, the deeper the hole we dig ourselves into. You understand what I'm saying? We dig our holes so much in so much of a hole that we begin to think that this is where we belong. You understand? We got black people, so-called black people, or so-called our people, out here saying that, well, we in this position because this is where we want to be, and our people don't want to do anything or get ahead. The white man just worked hard. How did the white man work hard? He worked hard at murdering. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to stop seeking peace. If we can understand that this is a beast, this is our enemy, this is a person who has nothing good for us ahead. Every time we vote somebody into office, that person destroys us. From George Bush to Bill Clinton to Bush again to Obama to Donald Trump and now on to Biden. How many times are we going to trust in our oppressor to give us what is due us? We have to stop trusting in our oppressor. That's the problem with our people. You understand what I'm saying? You got that clip right there? You want to run that clip?
Yeah.
Now listen, we looked at the clip before. The clip before was from the imagination of our oppressor of, if we let Negroes, so-called Negroes, run this country, this is what's going to happen. Now, this is not our propaganda. This is reality right here. When you let the oppressor run your country, when you let your oppressor make the rules and make the laws, these are the things that happen. Run that clip.
Hold the line, Patriots. Hold the line. National Guard is on their way. Real. Steel is 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 real.
If we would have been out there like that, what would have happened to us? Overrunning the country.
Our f***ing laws. This is real, and they're f***ing
Same propaganda that they said would happen to us.
Put the knife away.
The same thing that we would do. This is what they said we would do if we ran the country.
Why are we here?
Yeah, but you're holding a knife.
He just got in my face.
That's a good point. You got a knife.
A man just got in my face.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Okay, well talk to him. Don't talk to a woman that jumped in my face.
To defend you. A lot of people.
I will kill anybody.
USA! 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 USA!
No guns out, no guns. Hey, listen, stop. Look at that flag right there. Did you see that flag right there? That was that yellow flag right there. You know what flag that is? That was the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. That was the flag before when the colonies first came. When the colonies first came into existence, and it was only at the time it was only 12 colonies. This was their national flag right here. This was their national flag to tell the British, "Don't tread on me. This is our country. We are not under your rule." You understand what I'm saying? Now, when we stand up, or so-called blacks stand up and we say, "This is what we're going to do," they have guns drawn. They have everything. They had the Confederate flag, the flag that they said, this flag is illegal. This flag can't be put up. You understand what I'm saying? This was the oppressors. That's why, listen, this is the reason why all of that symbolism means nothing. All of that taking flags down, taking statues down, it means nothing. Listen, if you take an evil person and you take their clothes off of them, is that person still evil? Yes, that person is. Evil is within it. Listen, the United States is an evil, immoral country. No matter how many flags you take down, no matter how many statues you knock down, the morality and the mindset of the country will still be here. This is the reason why we have to separate ourselves from these people. These are an evil people. They have a perpetual hatred for us. An ongoing hatred that cannot be quenched. Go ahead, finish that.
Every one of us in the
pepper spray, a lot of it. And so that pushed us back. But they're still working on getting inside the building and taking their stand.
MSNBC, CNN, and all where all this started, and put out the fires. They started the fires.
We're not here to attack you. We're not here to be violent. We are not here to be violent. We're not here to be violent with you guys. Who has water? We have a doctor around here. The ones who protected you. The ones who stood by your side.
Garbage people.
Look at that.
Such a shame.
Same flag that they
My
said.
5-year-old son's more of a f***ing man than you
And mind you, right? This right here was after they had. This was 2 hours after they had the. What's that called when they tell you got to be off the street at a certain time?
Curfew.
The curfew. This was after the curfew. You understand what I'm saying? And these are the people that we want to be mingled with. These are the people that we want to be mixed with. You understand? It tells us, the Bible tells us, we trust so much in our enemy. You understand? That none of this really sinks into our people. None of this opens the eyes of our people for our people to begin to say that, you know, these people do not care for us. You understand?
Why should your business go hybrid? Getting things that can help you without virus. That's what a hybrid cloud approach with IBM can do for your business. Automate processes across all of your clouds and earn rave reviews.
They impeached Donald Trump. What is Joe Biden going to do? Joe Biden's going to do the same thing Donald Trump did, but only more subtle. You understand? He's going to be more slicker. You understand? In a sense, you got yourself a wolf and you got a fox. Donald Trump is a wolf. A wolf has no cut card. A wolf's going to come straight at you and they're going to chase you down and they're going to kill you right off the bat. When you see a wolf, you know that that wolf is out to destroy you. Biden's going to come in. Biden's going to be a fox. He's going to make you think that, oh, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to harm you or anything like that. But he's going to subtly destroy you with his laws and with all of the things that he can do underhanded and wickedly. You understand what I'm saying? He's still out to destroy our people. You understand? There's no doubt about it. We have to understand that this is a beast that we are in front of. We have to understand that these people are out to destroy us. Listen, this race was not about getting Trump out of office. This race was about who's going to control the slaves for the next 4 years, the Democrats or the Republicans. This is the reason why the Republicans were raising all kinds of hell, because they wanted to run the slaves another 4 years. You understand? Who gets paid and who gets paid more? The Republicans wanted to get paid more, and that's the reason why they had an uproar like they are. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump doing the things that he did. This is what they want to throw you off and make you think that it's about Donald Trump, but it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's about who's running the slaves this year and who will be running the slaves next year. That's all it's about. Both sides are making money off of our people. You understand what I'm saying? You got the left wing and the right wing, which makes one bird. They all are under the same bird. You understand? And that means that they all are the same people. You understand? Let's move
over to the center there.
Okay. You got that article with Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
Let's read that article with Kamala Harris. And this is another thing, how they get us with their propaganda too, right? They always bring somebody in, or they always got somebody on the wing that looks like us, but it's not us. This is what they did with Obama. You understand what I'm saying? When Obama came in, he so-called looked like us, and that's what fooled a lot of our people. You understand? They always bring somebody in that looks like us to somewhat coerce us into falling to a side. You understand? When they brought Obama in, they knew that everybody was going to fall towards Obama, or the black vote was going to fall towards Obama, and thus they were going to have us on one side. You understand what I'm saying? And when they brought Obama in, what did Obama do for us? Obama brought in homosexuality, transgenderism. He made all of these laws for gays and transgenders and LGBTQs and all of that, and he did nothing for so-called black people or the black family. And when I say the black family, I'm talking about the man, the woman, and the child. You understand what I'm saying? And now they have a so-called black woman. This is what they're calling her. It says she's part black, and then they called her Asian American, Black American, when she is not Black American. She's an East Indian. You understand what I'm saying? This is her heritage, is East Indian. And Kamala Harris destroyed black men in California when she was in California. And now she is out to destroy men in all of America if she can. You got that article?
Come.
Let's read that.
Los Angeles Times. California's tough on crime pass haunts Kamala Harris. In the 2020 presidential race, the disproportionate imprisonment of African American men has become a major issue, and it's posting an especially big challenge for Harris, California's first black U.S. senator. She is counting on strong support from African Americans, but many black voters are weary of her 27 years as a prosecutor enforcing laws that sent African Americans to prison disproportionately. Often left unsaid is that Harris, a former state's attorney general and San Francisco district attorney, did not play a role in posing a lot of those laws. Still, her home state's high rate of incarcerating people of color goes a long way in explaining the trouble she has had selling her candidacy to black voters nationwide.
Hold right there for a minute. Let me just say this right here. And this is another problem with our people. When statistics come out and show you who these people really are, or show us who these people really are, when the person steps up and the person begins to speak, we always accept apologies. You understand? Or we always accept that, oh, well, that was a time in my life when I was going through, or something was happening in my life and I was making stupid decisions. Listen, when you in a position like these people are in right now, there are no stupid positions. If she was so-called black, she wouldn't be the main destroyer of blacks in California as a district attorney. You understand? Just like, what's his name, Daniel, the one that in the Breonna Taylor case, the same thing. But this is one of our brothers. You understand? Doing the same destruction to black people in, what was that, Kentucky. You understand what I'm saying? When you're in a position like that, it's either you are or you're not. Her record proves who she is. But the thing is we let people step up on a podium and give us all these pretty and beautiful sounding words, and then the next thing you know, they are destroying us all over again. You understand what I'm saying? Statistics show who she really is. And this woman hates black people. Go ahead.
Communities of color, they have a hard time trusting you when you are connected with law enforcement, said Yvette McDonald, a black attorney and former Pasadena prosecutor who is undecided in the Democratic presidential race, citing generations of racial bias in the judicial system.
Hold up for a minute. I don't mean to stop you right there, but understand this, right? It has nothing to do with history. It has everything to do with what you're doing right now. People don't trust you because of what you're doing right now. It had nothing to do with history. And although that's a brother that's speaking, that brother is speaking from a standpoint, he's in the same custom and he's in the same culture and he's in the same America that she's in. So he's not speaking from I've been slammed to the ground, I've been beat up by police, this has happened to me. He's speaking about history and things that have happened to us in history, which we do know, but these people don't trust her because of what she's doing now. It has nothing to do with past history. It has everything to do with what she's doing now. Go ahead.
History has taught us a lot about distrusting people who don't have our best interests at heart. Tensions between law enforcement and California's black communities run deep. The 1965 Watts riots stem largely from anger over police brutality. The Black Panther Party, formed the following year, set up patrols to monitor police harassment in Oakland. The LA riots of 1992 were touched off by the acquittal of 4 white police officers in the beating of Rodney King, an African American. The friction with law enforcement has had a broad cultural impact. In the 1980s and 1990s, black outrage at police misconduct was a frequent theme in the music of Tupac Shakur, NWA, and other West Coast rap performers. Ice Cube, the former NWA member who wrote the lyrics to F the Police, told the Times in 1989 that cops see you in a car and assume you are a drug dealer. The United States now has the world's highest incarceration rate, with 2.3 million people in jail or prison.
2.3 million. That's a whole lot of people to have in jail. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of these brothers and sisters are in jail because we trust in our oppressor. Trusting in our oppressor so much so because we were brought into this, like I said before, it's amazing that we're doing this on this day, supposedly Martin Luther King's birthday, the very person who brought us into integration. Before integration, we were a prospering people. You understand? Before integration, we were a prospering people. We had our own. You understand what I'm saying? We gave up everything that we had to integrate with a beast. And like we always say, whenever you integrate into anything, you become the thing that you integrate into. That thing does not become you, but you become that thing. So when you integrate into America, you become an American, or so-called, because the same laws that your oppressor gets to enjoy, we do not get to enjoy. You understand what I'm saying? That insurrection at the Capitol on January the 6th, if that would have been black people doing that, it would have been a whole lot of bodies laying around after that. And all they would have did was scoop them up and sent them to their people. You understand what I'm saying? But they allowed their people to storm the Capitol, to come in armed. You understand what I'm saying? To come in dangerous. You understand? And if you couldn't see that that was a dangerous crowd, you got to be a blind person. You understand? But see, these are the things you get to enjoy when you are an American. We have to understand that we are not American. You understand? We cannot seek to have peace with a people who only have destruction on their mind for us. You understand? You got any more on that article?
Liberals said lawmakers would keep toughening penalties, leading to overcrowded prisons. That's indeed what happened under Republican Governor George
W. Bush.
George Dickinson and Wilson and Democratic Governor Gary Davis. Every news story of an atrocious crime generated a bill saying, let's add 5 years to that. Recalled former state's attorney Bill Lockyer, a Democrat who served in the legislature from 1973 to 1998.
And check this out. I don't mean to stop you right there, but and that was the biggest climb of incarceration from the 1970s all the way up until the late 1990s was the biggest decline in incarceration for so-called black men. Now, he said every time there was an atrocious crime from the 70s all the way up into the late 90s, there was an atrocious crime, they said, let's add more time. The only difference is they were not adding time to their own people, they were adding time to our people. You understand? They were adding time to the so-called black, Hispanics, and natives. They were not adding time to the so-called oppressor. When the oppressor got locked up for a murder or something like that, they were getting standard time. When you or when we as a people, as a so-called minority, were getting time, we were getting twice the time that they were getting. You understand what I'm saying? It was not intended for them to put the time on their people. It was intended for them to put the time on us. And thus, this is the reason why we had, you said 2.3 million incarcerated today? 2.3 million incarcerated today. This is the reason why we are the backbone of this country. They need us to be incarcerated, but we have to understand that we cannot seek to have peace with these people. We have to get our people out from under this oppressor. And the only way we can come out from under this oppressor is come back to the law, statutes, and commandments given to us by the Most High. We have to get up in this Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and learn what these laws, statutes, and commandments, the true meaning of these laws, statutes, and commandments. Get under the Most High, get out of that iniquity, and come back. You understand? That's the only way we're going to get our people from under this oppressor. Go ahead.
The consequences in California's prisons were dramatic. From 1977 to 2006, the population jumped from fewer than 20,000 inmates to over 166,000, more than double the prison design capacity. Since 1984, California has spent $6.2 billion building 23 prisons.
Spend billions. So let me ask you a question. If they're going to spend billions in building prisons, what does that make those prisons? What does that make the prisons? That makes those prisons an investment. So if you make the prisons an investment, what do they need to go into those prisons to make that investment good? They need slaves. They need prisoners. They need so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives in those prisons to make good on those investments that they made in those prisons. Any more on that?
California's prison overcrowding got so severe that the U.S. Supreme Court found in 2011 that unsafe and unsanitary conditions had caused needless suffering and death, a breach of the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment.
That's it. All right, leave that alone, drop that. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6.
In the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Say that again.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. What is that knowledge? That knowledge is the laws, statutes, and commandments. And one rule, one law in that knowledge is trust not thine enemy. And like we said before, this is a problem that we have with our people. We have too much trust in the very people that's destroying us. You understand? And if we would come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, we would understand who this beast truly is. We would understand that he is our enemy. A lot of us think that he is our friend. You understand? He is our confidant. So much so that we out there mixing and marrying them, and we marrying into them. And once you marry into this, you can't see from your own perspective. The only thing you're going to do is see from your oppressor's perspective when you marry into them. Go ahead.
Come, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children.
Listen, it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will reject thee. Because we reject these laws, statutes, and commandments, this is the reason why we all locked up on drugs. We all hooked up on drugs. Because we reject this knowledge, this is the reason we out here killing and destroying our own people. Because we reject this knowledge, this is the reason why we have all of these underlying diseases that this coronavirus is destroying us. Because we reject knowledge, the Most High will reject us. You understand? And we will be no priest to him, seeing that thou hast forgotten the laws of God, I will also forget thy children. You forget the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High will forget us. You forget the laws, statutes, and commandments, he will forget our children. And this is the reason why we are being destroyed today. Because our parents forgot the laws, statutes, and commandments, and so forth and so on. You understand? And this is why we are a destroyed people today. We want to vote for Kamala Harris because she looks like us. She is not our people. And that's the very thing that we can't understand. You understand? We can't understand that when we see somebody who may look like us, these people are not us. We are not African. Everybody thinks because we have the same hue that we are the same people. Just because you have the same hue as somebody does not mean you are the same people. We understand that we are not Arabs, right? Or so-called Arabs. But a lot of our people think that we are. This is the reason why we fall into Islam. You understand? This is the reason why we fall into Christianity. Because we think we are these people. And because we think we are these people and we have forgotten the laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High have forgotten us. And this is what happens when you fall into these things. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
The book of Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Say that again.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Read on.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons. Listen, it's talking about interracial marriage, but let's understand something more than that, right? Marriage is us thinking that we Democrats. You understand? We marrying into their society. We thinking that we Republicans. We marrying into their society. You understand what I'm saying? It's not only talking about interracial marriage, but it's marrying into the customs and culture of the people that's destroying us. You understand? It says, neither shall thou make marriages with them. Marriages are covenants. You understand what I'm saying? And every time we think we are a Democrat or Republican, every time we go out and we think we voting for a new oppressor, somebody who's going to be better than the last oppressor, this is making marriages with them. And the Most High tells us, neither shall thou make marriages with them. You understand? It's the same thing that we do when we go in, when we get into Islam. when we get into Christianity. This is making marriages with a people who are not us. You understand what I'm saying? It says, neither shall thou make marriages with them. You understand? Bringing your daughters unto their sons, bringing our children and our daughters, our sons and our daughters into Christianity, bringing our sons and our daughters into Islam, bringing our sons and our daughters into Buddhism, and all of those other things that are not of us, or is not of the Most High, is making marriages with them. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we are a destroyed people, because we continue to do the very things that the Most High tells us not to do. It says, thou shalt not make marriages with them. And we continue to marry into this society. Well, until we come back from the law, come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, we are going to continue to be destroyed by this beast. You understand? We trust too much in our enemy. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 7 and verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
Listen, this is what being a Democrat and a Republican, this is what thinking that we are Americans, this is what this does to us. This turns us away from the Most High. You got people out here saying, I'm not going to trust in God, I'm going to trust in Obama. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to trust in God, I'm going to trust in Bill Clinton. Turning us away from these laws, statutes, and commandments. The Bible can't tell me nothing that Obama can't tell me today. The Bible can't tell me nothing that Kamala Harris can't tell me today. You understand? Trusting in this oppressor is turning our people away from the Most High. And when we turn away from the Most High will turn away from us. We will be destroyed. We will continue to fall in a downward spiral. You understand what I'm saying? What does that say? It says, for they will turn away thy sons from following me. When you become a Democrat and you begin to teach your child the Pledge of Allegiance, listen, the Pledge of Allegiance is the very thing that turns us away from the Most High. When you pledge in your allegiance, you are pledging your allegiance to a flag, to a republic. You understand what I'm saying? You are not pledging your allegiance to God. You're pledging your allegiance to a country that was built on oppressing us. You understand? So when you pledge your allegiance, you pledge to be a slave. This is what we do when you pledge allegiance. Look at what it says. It says, pledge allegiance to a flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Everything that this stands on is for a republic, not for the good of our people, but for the good of their people. When you pledging an allegiance, you're pledging allegiance to a people who set out to destroy us. And this is the reason why, as soon as our children hit kindergarten or that first grade, the first thing that they teaching them, before they find out or before we learn our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, they teach you to pledge your allegiance, so much so that it's in your mindset. You understand what I'm saying? What do they call that? Kawan? Salakia? Yeah. It's called the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. You understand what I'm saying? When you pledge your allegiance, that's the mark of the beast. When you depend on the customs and culture of a people who's destroying you, that's the mark of the beast. When you have Christianity or Islam in you, that's the mark of the beast. Anything that goes against what the Most High tells us, even electing or putting a person over top of you that was not appointed by the Most High, that's the mark of the beast. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead. But this, you can actually drop that. And let's go to First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
The book of First Maccabees, 1 and chapter 11.
Hold up for a minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we had much sorrow.
All right, let's read that again. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. They're talking about the leadership in Israel, the so-called Sadducees and the Pharisees. You understand, which would be our preachers and our pastors today. And you could even include the politicians, the so-called black politicians in our leadership today. It says, went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many. And when it speaks of persuading many, he's talking about the other people, other Israelites. You understand what I'm saying? So you had wicked Israelites persuading other Israelites, saying, let us go and make a covenant with them. Listen, when President, it was a good vision was when President Trump, when Trump became president, and you had all of those so-called Negro preachers and pastors up there trying to lay hands and pray for him. You understand what I'm saying? It says you had let us go make a covenant. They were up in the president's office trying to make a covenant, trying to pitch something for themselves. And if you notice, preachers and pastors, they always prosper in times like this when we being destroyed. They always prosper in times like this when we being destroyed because they make those covenants. They sell us out to these people, you understand, to continually be destroyed. Now, all of these so-called black politicians up on Capitol Hill, up in the Senate, up in the House of Delegates, and all of these things like that, all of these laws and all of these things that they were making to privatize prisons and making all of these unjust laws to encapsulate us into this prison system. You understand what I'm saying? You mean to tell me that they didn't know what the true goal of our oppressor was? They know what the true goal of the oppressor, because they are right there voting yay and nay to everything that the oppressor sets. You understand what I'm saying? They know all of the rules and they know everything that it encapsulates, and they know who it's going to affect. You understand? And clearly we see that it doesn't affect their people. You understand? All of those people that stormed Capitol Hill, they were allowed to go home, sleep with their families, be with their families, and everything else. Had that been a black group doing that, there would have been thousands of arrests that night. You understand what I'm saying? But we sell ourselves short for a small profit. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing that Judas did to Christ when he sold Christ out. For a small profit, he sold Christ out. And this is what those politicians and those preachers and those pastors are doing today. We are a destroyed people for a lack of knowledge. The knowledge is that we don't understand that these people are out to destroy us. All of that Democrat, Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, none of this stuff suits or fits us. These people are only here to destroy us. And this is what happens. You understand? It says, in those days went there out of Israel. Oh, wait a minute. I'm reading the wrong thing. Oh, yeah. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen round about us. Listen, let us go make a covenant with these people, because if we go here to make a covenant with them, then we can benefit. You understand? When there is no benefiting with these people. If you see, just like we talked about earlier, when you look at what the so-called native Indians did, The Native Indians made many covenants with the oppressor, but they were still destroyed. And this is the reason why the oppressor has Thanksgiving today, which our people celebrated a couple of weeks ago back in November. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because we continue to try to make covenants with a people that are set out to destroy us. And it says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. You understand what I'm saying? And we think that without these people, we cannot prosper on our own. And this is the mindset of a lot of our people. We think that we cannot prosper without our oppressor being included. We cannot prosper without our oppressor being the head of our own community associations and things like that. We think that we can't prosper without our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we're always including them. But anytime we include the oppressor in anything that we do, the oppressor ends up taking over and then kicking us out. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like what was the city called? What was the little town called in North Carolina? The one that got destroyed in 1880? What was one of the little towns that was burnt down around the time of Black Wall Street? What was that in North Carolina? Anyway, that was one of the cities that were burned down, and what they did was the oppressor came in and worked his way into because it was a city of they had a lot of black congressmen and stuff like that, and they let the oppressor come in, and the oppressor started a different group, and they all funneled over to the oppressor's group, and the oppressor Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington. What was that? North Carolina, right?
Wilmington insurrection.
Right, the Wilmington insurrection. That was it, and because they wanted to bring the oppressor in, the oppressor ended up coming in and taking over and destroying the whole town and kicking the black people out and taking over. You understand? That was the whole gist of it. You got that article? You got a little bit on that?
Wikipedia.
Go ahead, but let me get a little bit in on that. It was the same thing when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? And the children of Israel complained and moaned and groaned at Moses because they wanted to go back. They felt it being better being in Egypt. And that's another thing that we have to understand, that even in those times, the slavery that the Israelites were in at that time, it didn't seem, when you come up under a particular system as a baby, into a child, into an adult, a lot of these things seem normal. You understand what I'm saying? Like when we first came over here into slavery, we knew we were slaves. You understand what I'm saying? But they have changed the system so much so that we don't even realize, a lot of us don't even realize that we are slaves today. You understand? We don't even realize we being oppressed. A lot of us don't understand that we being oppressed, don't see that we being oppressed. You understand? A lot of us go about our daily lives and just happy with the scraps that the oppressor is giving us. Go ahead.
Wilmington insurrection of 1898. The Wilmington insurrection of 1898, also known as the Wilmington Massacre of 1898 or the Wilmington Coup of 1898, was a mass riot and insurrection carried out by white supremacists in Wilmington, North Carolina, United States, on Thursday, November the 10th, 1898. Though the white press in Wilmington originally described the event as a race riot caused by black people, as more facts were publicized over time, it came to be seen as a coup de grace, the violent overthrow of a duly elected government by a group of white supremacists.
Think about that word that they use, a coup de grace. That's something that you usually hear from a third world country. You understand? Or a second world country. That's something that you usually hear from something like that. But that actually happened here. And blacks were in control of their own city. But because they wanted to marry or intermarry with another race or bring other people in that were not their people who had a different agenda, this is what happens. This is why the Most High tells us, thou shalt not marry. You understand? With these people. This is the reason why he tells us to stay separate. The Most High made us a holy people. A holy people means to be separate. And to be separate, you have to stay among your own. We have to take care of our own. And because we intermarried and intermingled with these people, now when it comes to taking care of our own, we can't take care of our own. We have to look towards our oppressor to take care of our people. You understand what I'm saying? We have to look towards our oppressor to feed us. We have to look towards our oppressor for work. We have to look towards our oppressor for all of our daily needs. When you have to look towards someone for all of your daily needs, what does that make you? What does that make us? That makes us slaves. You understand? But the Lord told us he made us a holy people unto himself. You understand? And because he made us a holy people, if we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we begin to take care of our own people, because if you think about it, we're taking care of every nation on the face of this planet. If you name a nation, we can tell you what we doing for that nation. You understand what I'm saying? Or how that nation is benefiting off of us. You understand what I'm saying? They don't mind us defiling ourselves so that they can look upon Zion. You understand what I'm saying? They looking upon us like we are their meal ticket. And we don't even see it that we are their meal ticket. Think about the Chinese. How much Chinese food does a Chinese man sell to his people? How much Korean food does the Korean sell to his people? How much what's that, East Indian, how much Dunkin' Donuts does East Indian sell to their people? You understand? And so forth. How much business does the Arab do for his people in America today? All of their business is done with us. We are the support system for every nation that is here. We are the support system of every nation that is abroad. Everybody takes advantage of us, but we do not take advantage of our own power. The Most High says the kingdom of heaven is at hand. If we take care of our own people, we would take care, the other nations would fall and the other nations would be under our foot. You understand? You got something? Oh, I thought you had something. Okay. No, listen. We need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments and take care of our own people. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:13.
Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiasticus?
No, Ecclesiastes.
7:13?
7:13, sir.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 13. Consider the work of God.
Say that again.
Consider the work of God.
It says to consider the work of God. Let's ponder. Let's think about what the Most High has done. The Most High has set the sun, the moon, he has set the stars. He has put everything on this earth that we need. Even the things that we dig up and we make things out of, the Most High put everything here that we need. You understand what I'm saying? Consider the work of God. Consider how he put man and woman together and man and woman makes child. You understand what I'm saying? Consider how he puts the lion in the field and the gazelle in the field. One destroys the other, or one feeds off the other, and the cycle continues. Everything lives upon everything. Consider the work of God. Go ahead.
For who can make that straight which he have made crooked?
It says, who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? Understand something. The Most High has made the oppressor the way he made him. You understand? But we spend so much time trying to bring the good out of the oppressor when there is no good in him. Who can make that straight when he hath made crooked? The Most High made the oppressor to be over us like he made them, so that we would have to call on him to get the oppressor off our back. But if we don't call on him to get the oppressor off our back, and we continue to try to do it ourselves, we are going to continue to be under the foot of the oppressor. We have to look back to the Most High. We have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's the only way that we're going to come out from under the oppressor. You understand? Who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? Nobody has the strength of the Most High but the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? And the only way we're going to come from out of this oppression is to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? There is no one. You understand? But you can get back up in these into this Isupk, and you can find out how we can come back and how we can make our people strong. We have come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and we have become a holy people. We have become a people that is separate from the oppressor. We do not rely on the oppressor. Yes, we do work for the oppressor, but we understand where we are and what we have to do to bring our people back. You understand? We do not rely on the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem with us today. We got to understand who we are. You understand? And we are children of the Most High. These laws, statutes, and commandments were written for us. They were written for no other nation. What's that? Deuteronomy, what was that? Psalms 147, 19, and 20 tells us that these were only for us and not for the other nations. I'm only paraphrasing. But these laws, statutes, and commandments were only for us and not for any other nations. And it says in there that as for the other nations, he has not known them. You understand what I'm saying? So we just got to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments and understand that this is for us. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37.
Say that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment. You know, a proverb and a byword. You understand what I'm saying? Among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. We have become a proverb and astonishment. You understand? When these other nations, they come here from all of these poor countries, and then they come here and then they make their fortune when they come here off of us, and they look at us as an astonishment. Like, if I can come here and I got a store and I can do this, why can't they do it? They are astounded. You understand? They look at us like, if I can come here and do this, how can't they? I've only been here for a few years and I got a store, I got this, I got that, I got a gas station, I got a Dunkin' Donuts, I got this. But they've been here all their lives and they have nothing. We own nothing, and the other nations look at us and are astounded. They are in astonishment. You understand? They look at us like, what's wrong with these people? You understand? We are a proverb and a byword. You understand what I'm saying? We are that so-called Negro. You understand? We are a proverb and a byword, the so-called African American. How can you be two nations? You can only be one nation. You understand? We are a proverb and a byword. We are everything that the other nations look and they feed off of us. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because we don't know the very power that the Most High has put in us. The Most High says he made us a special people. He made us a special people. When you look at us, you know that we're different. You understand? That we different in so much so in a way that the other nations try to emulate us. You understand? They want to be us, but they don't want to be us. You understand? They want to be us in a fortune kind of way, but they don't want to be us in a natural kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? They want to make money off of us, but they don't actually want to live the life that we live every day. You understand what I'm saying? How can you be a $1 million making football player or a basketball player and have someone say, you can't talk about this? You can't talk about your people being destroyed. That is an astonishment to the other nations. How can you sit around and watch your people being destroyed and not say anything about it? You understand? That's an astonishment. You understand? The other nations look at us like, what the hell's going on with these people? You understand what I'm saying? That's an astonishment. That's a proverb and a byword. When the other nations look at us, they like what they can get from us, but they don't want to be us. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. Verse 14.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Listen, it's woe. Woe means destruction. Destruction to this world. Destruction to America. Destruction to the world and them that dwell within. Listen. Anybody who's living in the custom and culture of this world, of this America, of this United States, is destruction to this United States and destruction to them that's living in this world, who's depending on this custom and culture of this world. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Listen. The end is coming for this country. You understand what I'm saying? The sword is drawing nigh. The destruction, listen, it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Their destruction is coming. You understand what I'm saying? The sword, it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Go ahead.
And one people shall stand up and fight against another.
It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. Listen, we fight against each other, you understand what I'm saying, as black on black crime, but we are not the rulers of this world. This scripture is talking about the oppressor fighting against the oppressor. What we saw at that Capitol building, that's what it's describing right there. One people shall stand up and fight against another. This is white on white crime. This is America versus America. If you're living in the customs and culture of this country, the destruction is coming upon you too. It says, and one shall stand and fight up against another. Go ahead.
And swords in their hand.
And swords in their hand. Listen, the way these people were fighting, the way they were beating down their own people, the swords were in their hand. You had 5 people dying in this thing. You understand what I'm saying? The swords are in their hand. They had guns and everything at this riot. You understand? And let's call it what it is. It was terrorism. You understand what I'm saying? These terrorists had guns and everything else. They came armored down. You understand what I'm saying? These people were out to destroy their own people. And this is the reason why we needed to stay away from them and stay out of their business. This was their business. It was white on white crime, and it was good that we let them have their go at each other. Go ahead.
John, the book of 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
And listen, it says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. For they shall regard not, Salakia. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Listen, they had no regard. Salakia. Okay. They had no regard. They had no regard of the president, the vice president. They had no regard of the Senate, the delegates, or anything like that. You understand what I'm saying? They said that this is our United States. This is our America. You understand what I'm saying? And this is all that they cared about. You understand what I'm saying? And it says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Everything that they were doing were in their hands. You understand what I'm saying? The course of their power, their actions and everything were in their hand. They are out to destroy themselves. These people are going to destroy themselves. And all we have to do is lay back and let them kill each other off. You understand? All we have to do is follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we be good. You understand? So just what we need to do is come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High has a plan for us. You understand? And the plan is that we have to come out of the customs and cultures that we in. You understand? Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. If we can, Bible Shah.
Yeah. 2 Thessalonians. The book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
It says, let no man deceive you by any means. Listen, I understand that we got black people in the Senate, we got black people in Congress. You understand? We got black political leaders, we got black pastors and preachers, but the scriptures say, let no man deceive you by any means, regardless if they so-called your people or not. If they telling you to come into the customs and culture of a people that is not our people, that is not of the Most High, it says, let no man deceive you by any means. You can't let anybody bring you into anything that goes against what the Most High says. You understand? It says, let no man deceive you by any means. It says, for that day shall not come. What day? What day is he talking about? He's talking about the day that Christ returned. The day that Christ returned and destroys our oppressor. Listen, it says, let no man deceive you by any means. You understand? For that day shall not come. That day is the day that Christ returns and destroys our enemies. You understand what I'm saying? That's the day that they're talking about, except there come a falling away first. What does that mean? It means that we have to come out of America. We have to come out of these customs and cultures that are destroying us. Anything that goes against what the Most High says is destroying us. It says, except there come a falling away first. We have to fall away from Christianity. We have to fall away from Islam. We have to fall away from shrimp, crab, and lobster. We have to fall away from all of these things that's giving us these underlying diseases that the Most High told us not to do. We got to fall away from that shrimp, crab, and lobster like we said before. And it says, and that man of sin be revealed. It says that man of sin. It didn't say a spirit or a ghost or anything like that. It says a man of sin. Who is the man of sin? The man of sin is our oppressor. The man of sin is the very one that makes us do the things that goes against what the Most High tells us to do. The man of sin is the one who says homosexuality is good. The man of sin is the one that says you can marry, you can interracially marry. You understand what I'm saying? This is the things that this is the man of sin. You understand what I'm saying? We have to come away from these customs and culture. We have to come away from Egyptology. We have to come away from atheism. You understand what I'm saying? We got to come away from all of these things that the Most High said we are not to do. We got to come back and find out what these scriptures say. You understand? Because we have fallen into the customs and culture of the oppressors so much so that we have forgotten about the laws. You understand? A lot of us think this is a book of religion, but this book has nothing to do with religion. This book has everything to do with laws. This book has everything to do with morality. You understand? And we have to come back to the laws. We have to come back to morality. We have to come back to the Most High. You understand? Because if we don't, then we will continue this downward spiral into eternal hell. You understand? And I know I've been in hell long enough. I'm ready to get up out of hell because I want to experience heaven. I want to experience what it is to run a country. You understand? Under the Most High. You understand? And the only way we can run this country under the Most High is if we come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come at falling away first. We got to fall out of this. You understand? We got to fall out of these customs and culture, the very things that's destroying us. We got to stop loving Chinese people. We got to stop loving the dogs and the cats that they feeding us. You understand? We got to stop loving the Arabs. We got to stop loving the Koreans and all of these other nations, and we got to start loving our own people. The more we love these other nations, the less we love our own people. And that's a fact. You understand? And with that, I'm going to say we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of... Got a question?
You want to get the number 4?
Get the number 4. No. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. Been bringing this truth since 1969, and that truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And I'm going to turn the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Palak.
Security announcements. We are the Isupk out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. That'll be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from their head to speak to another brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced Ma'asherah. 10% of every penny increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department Priest Fund, a free will offering. If you like the way the priest was kicking it, send the Lord something in for the priest and all the study he puts in into the history and all the thought he puts in and all the prophecy he puts in and studying he puts in to trying to save your miserable life, man. You understand? Free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy congregation. Passover is coming up. It'll be held in Houston, Texas, because the Lord dealing with our oppressors. We can't have it in New York, but we're going to get in touch with the school in your city or your local area. Remind Akim and Aquafium to check in the social media, isupk.com, YouTube, Twitter, ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, pants, shirt, headbands, and or scarf. One courtesy salute for the marvelous teacher men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. I Majum Barak Yabashim Yabsharakata
Yabashim Yabsharakata
Yazimata. Class this morning.
Trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got crazy, so bad I didn't even have a heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Pop got me on the side of the road like a sideshow.